Welcome to a little random video I've decided to do. I'm making some cinnamon buns. I've never made them before, but I've been making something every weekend for us to eat as like a treat in the week, then while we're like back at work, when we're working from home. So the first week I made some like Lotus and Biscoff like biscuit bars. They were so good. Last week I made brownies, and then this week I'm making some cinnamon buns. So yeah, as I say, I've never made them before. We just popped out to Waitrose, and the only thing we didn't have, I'll show you the ingredients in a second, but the only thing we didn't have was cream cheese. We had soft cheese, but I googled and apparently it's not the same thing. But Waitrose actually had cream cheese. It was only £1.90 I think, so it wasn't expensive either. But everything else we actually already had all the ingredients for. So if you are like like I bake quite a lot, and we do have baking stuff in, so if you do bake quite a lot, then hopefully you would have these ingredients in anyway, maybe apart from the cream cheese. But I thought I would just do a little easy watch video about making some cinnamon buns. So first hurdle, I was going to use a BBC Good Food recipe that I'd looked at, and then as I just went to show it you, I realised that the reviews on the recipe were horrendous. People were saying you need to take this down, these aren't cinnamon rolls or cinnamon buns or whatever, cinnamon rolls, and we're saying that they're more like a scone, or like they're not doughy. And basically I was like, right, okay, I don't want to make them. So I don't have yeast. I can't find yeast anywhere in like the vicinity of where we live. It is just everybody has already bought their yeast, so I cannot find it anywhere, so I can't use yeast. So I've looked for a no yeast recipe. It's an American recipe which says to use all-purpose flour, which is plain flour, which is another situation. I don't have any of that either, and I can't find any anywhere. I've used all of mine up, and then so it's all-purpose flour and baking powder. So instead I'm going to use self-raising flour instead of all-purpose flour and baking powder, because I've just googled and you can do that. So let's just see how these come out. This is trial and error situation, but I'm now using a different recipe. I'll leave it down below. I'm going to use this one by sugarspunrun.com, which looks good and has got good reviews. It's got 4.79 stars from 89 votes, which the one on BBC Good Food literally had like 2 stars, which is bad. So I'm going to get started and get the new ingredients out for this, because I had the ingredients out for the last one. I'm sure they won't be too different, and we're going to make this one instead. So this is an American recipe, so we're using cup measurements. So the first thing we need to do is combine the dry ingredients for the dough. So we need 2 cups of flour. So I'm going to do 2 measurements of flour. I'm using my mixer, which is here just out of shot. I always think that like just cups are just way less accurate, aren't they, than measuring by grams, etc. Now, I find American recipes really hard to follow, because this says 3 tablespoons of sugar. I would never cook with granulated sugar. I never bake with granulated sugar, so I'm going to use caster sugar because that's what I would normally bake with. I've got a tiniest bit left in here. Then I've got a new bag. The one thing with flour and sugar, it always goes everywhere. It's like all over the side. Right, 3rd tablespoon of sugar. Teaspoon of salt. I will literally just estimate it. I'll just grind it in. I find it really hard to measure salt. So we need to mix this together to start with. So I'll stick that in the mixer. And then we need to use cold butter, which I think is bizarre, because normally you would make the butter soft. But it is cold because it's come from the supermarket, so we'll put that in afterwards. The issue is, how are you supposed to measure a tablespoon of butter? Like, that's just ridiculous. The butter was quite difficult. I basically just spooned 5 tablespoons into a little bowl and slightly put it in the microwave so that I could actually see whether it was 5 tablespoons. I find, as I say, I find American recipes really difficult because they're really not exact at all. Like tablespoons, I don't know, I just don't find it very exact. Anyway, put it in. I did it last week with brownies and it was fine. I know that dough is slightly harder, but anyway, now I need 3/4 cup of milk. So I've got a 1/4 cup and 1/2 cup in my little measurements. So I'm just gonna pop these in the mix. I'm being so careful not to drop this everywhere. Just mixing the milk in now, so the ingredients are going to combine, and that will make into a dough. And then I need to pop it onto a floured surface and roll that out. So very well floured surface actually. So I'm going to do that. But like, it's just quite, I don't know, it's quite a, not a scary recipe. I do bake quite often and I'm quite a good cook, if I do say so myself, and I do enjoy this type of thing. But I find making stuff like bread and like doughy things really quite stressful because it can go quite wrong. So it says we need to dump the flour onto dump the dough onto a very well floured surface. I would say this is very floured. So this is the dough. It is very sticky. So we'll see how it goes. So it says to roll the dough until it forms a cohesive ball, which I feel like it will shortly. Oh, actually, it does feel like quite good dough. It says to continue to flour the surface you're working with if needed, but I feel like this is not too sticky now that it's had the flour on it, so it's not too bad. I feel like that's a ball. So now it's in a ball, it says we need to pop some flour on top. Oh god, there's a little bit of a runaway bit. And I'm now gonna roll it out. I need a 10 by 12 inch rectangle. I actually have a tape measure here so that I can measure that it's the right length. I'm gonna start to roll this out now. Oh god, it's a bit hard to roll with the paper. Okay, so I've just measured. I've rolled it out too far lengthways. So I have now rolled that out to 12 by 10. I've just used a tape measure just to measure it, just because I quite like it to be exact, then I know that I'm actually doing the recipe correctly. So that is 12 by 10. So now I need to make my filling to lay on top of the dough that I've just made. So I need to now go back over to the mixer and make that. So there is quite a lot of steps to these buns. I feel like this is just completely the wrong angle. So professional. There is quite a lot of steps to these buns, so maybe not like a beginner recipe maybe if you've literally never baked in your life before. But so far, so good. So now for the filling. So I think I need to combine all of the filling ingredients. So I need to do the brown sugar, the sugar and the cinnamon, and then stir in the butter and the vanilla. I've melted the butter as it says. I need 2/3 of brown, light brown and soft sugar. I've got another bag as well. So I've got 2/3 brown sugar in here. I'm gonna use, I've got some random sugar left on the side. I'm gonna use caster sugar again, just because it just says sugar. So I'm gonna use caster sugar. So I need 3 tablespoons. Grab myself a tablespoon. So I've got 2/3 of a cup of brown sugar. I've got 3 tablespoons of white, and then cinnamon I have got 2 teaspoons. Now they're combined, I'm popping in my melted butter straight in, and then I've got some vanilla extract, which is 1/2 teaspoon. This is now done. I just had a little lick of a spoon and it literally tastes amazing. I do think it is slightly too runny because it says that it should be like a paste. It is slightly runnier than what I would call a paste, but I'm gonna go with it. It says spread the filling over the rectangle, leaving about a quarter of an inch space as a perimeter around the outside. Right, here I go with my mixture. Guess it is quite pasty. Hopefully it will be fine. So I need to, I've got more, I'm just putting a bit on to start with. So I need to leave a quarter of an inch. So I want to go like nearly to the ends. Cinnamon buns really remind me of when we went to Florida. It was about a year and a half ago now. It's crazy. When we went to Florida, we had cinnamon buns, and I literally had them every day for breakfast because you could get them in Walmart. And I remember, was it Walmart that we went to? Yeah, I think it was. And so we used to go there because we were in a villa when we went to Disney. And so we used to go there and like get food and stuff. And I remember I got like a pack of 6 cinnamon buns and just had them for breakfast. And I won't be doing that with these because I'm not on holiday, I'm at home. So I probably shouldn't be eating cinnamon buns for breakfast, but they really remind me of like being in Florida and on holiday, of happier times. So it's a nice recipe to make. So I've now got to start to roll. So it says to take, starting with one of the 12-inch ends, which is obviously the longer end, starts to roll. It says rolling tightly and press the edge of the roll into the dough so that it sticks. Like so, I guess. And then we'll just keep going. I hope I'm doing it right. Oh my god, these are good. I'm literally gonna die. I'm so excited. So now it's time to cut this. It says if it doesn't hold its shape to pop it in the freezer. So I'm gonna try it to start with and see what happens. I feel like it would possibly, oh my god, look how cool that is. I feel like it would be easier if I popped it in the freezer, but we actually don't have that much space. Oh my god, this is so cool. I'm so excited about this. I've also just popped some butter inside the tin. I'm trying to show you, in the tin, in the round tin. It says to pop some butter in there inside and put it in the preheated oven for a few minutes. I feel like it's holding its shape well, so we'll roll with it. Just look at my little babies and look how good they look. I'm so excited. So it says to place them in the dish. I've just taken it out of the oven and it's got melted butter inside it. Bring them over here so you can see. So I'm gonna just place these now inside on top of the melted butter, which I've never heard of ever before in my life. It says not to worry if the buns aren't touching because they'll expand in the oven anyway. Oh, I feel like mine are definitely going to be touching. We'll just have to cram them all in there. I think I got one too many. Oh no, is this one not going to fit? I'll squidge them in. It's fine. So here are my cinnamon buns before they go in the oven. I am extremely excited about this. So it now just says to bake them in the oven. It's 375 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 195 degrees Celsius, for 28 to 30 minutes, beginning to brown lightly on the edges, and then I will prepare the icing while these are baking. After moaning about the butter, like tablespoon measurements, I've realised that it actually says the amount of grams next to it. That's funny. So this is the cream cheese that I managed to get from Waitrose. It says with sea salt, so I'm not really too sure if this is the right thing, but it says cream cheese, so it smells like cream cheese. So 85 grams of that is what we need. So I've got my scales, and then we need oh no, it doesn't say. 3 tablespoons of butter softened. It doesn't say the grams, but on other things it does. How strange. Anyway, 3 tablespoons of this is probably the rest of this vlog. So I'm gonna put 85 grams. How many grams are in this? Oh, 150. It does say that this recipe makes a lot of frosting. Okay, so the camera ran out of battery, typical. Where is my phone? Over here. So it ran out of battery, so I've weighed the cream cheese and that is all I've done. And then I've just been editing another video, being so productive. So we need the 85 grams of cream cheese and we need 3 tablespoons of butter. So I've got my butter, I'm just gonna pop it in here. It is like softened, it's not melted. I don't know, I guess it's softer than normal. So I'm just gonna stick that in there. And then I also need some vanilla extract. I need 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I've washed everything up in between each step, so I don't have loads of washing up at the end. That means I'm using loads of cutlery. So 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm gonna pop this in the mixer over there. Don't know if you can see it. And whip this up. It doesn't look like much, like there's not much in there. And then I'm gonna add the sugar and the milk, etc. So my buns are done. Look how good they look. I'm just gonna get them out now. Oh my god, they smell and look absolutely incredible. Oh my god, and the timer just went off in the oven. What perfect timing. They're like crispy but spongy. Oh my god, I'm so excited. So I'm just gonna gradually, put this mixer on. So it says to mix this up and then gradually add the icing sugar. I haven't got exactly the amount. It's 1.5 cups and slightly under on the ½ cup. But I'm gonna gradually add that once this is mixed. And hopefully it'll all be fine. The only issue with this mixer, it was actually gifted to me, I probably should have mentioned that. It's from Cook's Professional. The only issue is it's really loud when it mixes. But then obviously you compare it to other mixers, it's not as expensive, so I understand why. I'm just adding a tablespoon of milk to the icing, which it tells you to do. And this should be the last step. depth. The icing tastes so nice. But yeah, one of the reasons I can't film this while it's mixing is because it's so loud. What isn't clear is whether I should put the icing... Oh god, that's really hot tin. I should have probably realised that it's just come out of the oven. But the one thing I haven't realised is whether I put the icing on top of here like this now. I think I do. And then wait for them to cool and then take them out of this. I think that's what I do. Because otherwise if I put them on a plate, it's going to go everywhere, isn't it? Yeah, I think I put it on here. I think. This is what my icing looks like. It tastes absolutely amazing. I love cream cheese icing. So I'm going to pop that over these now. Right, I'm just going to pour and go for it. This is a hell of a lot of icing though. So I'm not going to do it all straight away. Oh my god, these look incredible. This is how much icing she has got on in her picture of them that she's done. So I guess I'll do about this. There's still quite a lot left. I'm going to do about this much. And then maybe put the rest in a pot in the fridge. And then like you can always add more. So these are the finished buns. I will do a taste test before obviously I end this video, but I can't do one right now. I'm gonna wait for this to kind of cool it slightly. So my camera actually died again, but I just wanted to show you the finished buns. I haven't like teared this apart. I actually have still got, Avella's got the cake thing underneath. I haven't teared these apart just because they are still like warm. Oops. They are still warm. So I'm gonna leave them to cool. The icing has hardened, that's why I've taken the outside thing off, and then the recipe does say because these buns are quite soft that they are quite hard to like pull apart, so I might just leave it like this and then we can just like get a little bit off each time we want to eat them, or maybe I will section them. I don't know, I feel like it's just easier to leave it like this and then do like a pull apart type bread. But they look so yum. I will tell you how they taste before the end of this video, but I also just want to say as well, I was saying it before, this produced so much icing. I have got the rest of the icing inside this, oh god, I'm not going to get it out. Inside this tub, there's like probably half of this is full of icing, so it does produce a lot of icing, this recipe, and the recipe did say that, but good god, I didn't quite realise how much it would produce. So I've left that in the tub because I thought, if you like eat one, you could just add some icing on the side if you wanted extra icing. I quite like icing. So I've just left the rest of that in the fridge, but I'm leaving them to cool, and yeah, but it's been very successful. I haven't eaten them yet, but they feel squishy and just gonna be lovely when I do. This is now a new day. By the time I ate one of the cinnamon rolls last night, we were actually watching a film, and then I was like in my pajamas and stuff, and I just completely forgot to tell you about how good they were. So just had another one now. It's lunchtime, it's Monday, obviously we're working from home, and I just want to say they were absolutely incredible. They were so good, so yum. The sauce is like, or the icing is just incredible. I love cream cheese icing anyway. They just taste so good. Like the dough's really soft and like spongy, and oh god, it's just so nice. So very much recommend that recipe. Really enjoyed making them. I'm gonna make this a little bit of a thing if you'd like me to. So I'm gonna basically try, I think they're, I don't want to spread any fake news, but I think in the UK there's been quite a lot of talk on social media that this is gonna last a hell of a lot longer than what people think at the moment. So I'm gonna try and make my baking better. I feel like I'm a relatively good baker. Not a bake-off standard, not anywhere near. However, I'm going to try and bake something new every single weekend, so that we can have it in the week then for like a little snack after lunchtime or after our dinners in the evening, etc., which is what we've been doing the past few weeks. So if you would like me to do that, please give the video a big thumbs up. Let me know down below. If you have any ideas of things I can make, let me know. This is Bradley's opinion of the cinnamon rolls.
10 out of 10.
That's how good they were. 10 out of 10. They are absolutely incredible. Anyway, so if you have enjoyed this video, random little baking vlog, then please give the video a big thumbs up. Let me know anything else you do want me to bake. I'm going to have a little research, see what I can challenge myself with. But yeah, we want something that's like snackable. Like, I don't want to make a full cake because we're not going to be eating like a slice of cake at lunchtime. I want something that's in like little, like, I don't know, personal chunks. Also, just to note, neither of us like Rocky Road, so please do not suggest that we make Rocky Road. I do not like that, and neither does Bradley. Anyway, I'm going to finish this video. Let me know if you did enjoy it. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed before. Leave me a comment, let me know what you did enjoy about this video, and I will speak to you next time. Bye!